What's up, fellow gamers? Lefty Lucy here, and today I'm bringing you my Phantom Squire Stamina DK build, which I am using for the Orsinium update in ESO, or update 2.2.5. So just a little bit about the build before we get into it. I would say we've got very high damage and healing with this build. You've got high sustain, high survivability, and high mobility actually. But the best part about it is you get a Squire, best Squire in the world. Give it up for Podrick Payne, guys. Alright, so I don't have any negatives listed here. And really the only negatives to this build are that you won't be able to kill like 20 people by yourself. But realistically, what kind of builds are doing that lately? So you definitely will be able to 1vx with this build. You are going to be able to keep yourself alive, keep your stamina up, and pump the damage with this build. So 1vx's are definitely possible. So let's talk for just a quick second about the build philosophy. So we're using 5 pieces of medium armor with this one. We need to use some buffs to increase our damage mitigation because we're going to be less tanky since we dropped heavy armor. We're going to invest highly in stamina because we're a stamina build. Makes sense. We're going to use stamina based heals. Again, everything scales off of stamina with this build. Rapid maneuvers for mobility. That's going to give you what the DK lacks. You're going to have that mobility. All of these things together, combined with choosing some sets that give you stamina, stamina recovery, and weapon damage. Put all that together, you're going to have a build that gives you everything you need to compete effectively in the current state of PvP with this update in ESO. Alright, so let's get started with the races. Typical races for your stamina builds, these don't really change. I've got them in order here, but the order is really arguable. I'm running Imperial. I really recommend Imperial. I like the utility you get with the health and the stamina from Imperial. Orc is a close second for me. I really like Orc for the stam builds now. Red Guard, can't go wrong. Dark Elf's actually really nice for DKs with the update they made to their passives this patch. Wood Elf still good, Nord still a good option. So for your attributes, this is really going to depend on where your health and stamina are. So my recommendation is to prioritize your health. Get your health to 20k first. Get your health to 20k. You can do it with your health points right here, or you can do it with enchantments on your gear. But get to 20k health, then put everything into stamina. Enchantments, attribute points. Again, this is going to depend on your champion points too. So allocate your champion points, get to 20k health, then put everything else into stamina. Ignore my health, it's too high right now because I've got the Emperorship bonus. So you want 20k health without food, without Emperorship bonus in Cyrodiil. And you're good. Then put the rest into stamina. For Mundus, I switched over to the Serpent. I really like the regen that I get with the Serpent. It helps out the sustain, and I feel like I already have enough damage and enough stamina, so the other options would be the Tower or the Warrior, but I'm liking what the Serpent gives us, so I recommend the Serpent for this build. Alright, so let's go over the gear. We've got 2-piece Blood Spawn. We got that on the helmet and the shoulders. We're going 1-piece for the stam recovery. We're going 2-piece because we get some tankiness and also some ultimate game, which is great on the DK because of Battle Roar. Then you've got 5-piece Morcaldin. This is where the magic happens, guys. That 5-piece, that's where you get Podrick Payne. That's where you get your Phantom Squire. So the 4-piece for this set is actually fantastic, and I recommend, if you don't want to run the 5-piece, if you don't like it, I recommend running a build similar to what Yo-Yu is going to be putting out on his channel. So check out his channel. He's going to be doing a build with the 4-piece. I like the 5-piece because I use light attacks all the time. So the benefit of the 5-piece is there's a 10% chance when using a light or heavy attack, summon an animated weapon to attack your enemies for 15 seconds. This animated weapon's basic attacks deal 4,583 damage. Cut that in half for PvP, still good, because it doesn't just do light attacks. So not only does it attack consistently and it follows your targets, but it also, in addition to its light attacks, it also does cleaves, the brawler skill from the 2-hand skill line. So it does an AoE. That will actually take Nightblades out of stealth, guys. Awesome. And it procs on damage shields. Just great. I love the 5-piece, but I really love it because I use animation canceling, so I use light attacks before every single skill that I use. So if you try this out, you feel like you can't proc it enough for it to be worth it, again, check out Yo-Yu's channel. He's going to run something with the 4-piece. The 4-piece on this set is still fantastic. I just love the added pressure that you get from the 5-piece. You don't even have to do anything extra. Podrick Payne has got your back, man. Alright, so we're also running the 3-piece agility, 2 rings, and then on the weapons. And then we're running 2-piece potentates on the necklace and the shield. So real quick, 2-piece Bloodspawn, 5-piece Morcaldin, 2-piece Potentates, 3-piece Agility. I breezed over this, I forgot. We want to run Impenetrable now. I'm actually running Impenetrable on my gear. A combination of Impenetrable and Infused. Everyone's running high crit builds now, so you want to try and negate that. Keep yourself alive, keep yourself tanky by running Impenetrable. So put this on your smaller pieces, keep Infused on your larger pieces. I dropped Divines entirely. Almost forgot to mention, I am using a two-handed axe. People might be asking why. So for the Orsinium update, they changed the passives in your two-hand skill line. The axes now are actually, they can actually compete, I think. They actually compete now. So it gives you a 7,000 damage dot, and that scales with weapon damage, so we throw a rally on there. Oops, I have nothing on my bar, because I was going to show you guys my abilities. So we throw a rally on there, and we look at that buff again. Now it's 7,400. So that scales off weapon damage. So that dot is very nice. I feel like axes can actually compete now. Swords and maces are still a great option, but I wanted to try out the axe, and honestly, I don't really feel too much of a difference, and I think that's a good thing. I think that tells us that the axes, the maces, and the swords are in a good balanced state right now. So for your enchantments, as the DK, you really want to get these prismatic enchantments. You get the health, the stamina, and the magicka. The health and the stamina makes perfect sense for the stamina build. You always need health, you always want stamina for a stamina build. The magicka is just fantastic for the DK because we have so many abilities that use magicka that are good abilities in our class trees. You got Igneous Shield, you got Volatile Armor, you got Fossilize. What else? You got Reflective Scale. So you have a lot of options, and I actually use a lot of those abilities on this build. So having a good magicka pool is a good thing. I recommend getting the prismatic enchantments on all of your gear, all of your armor. I don't have it all yet, but I would work towards it. And then for your jewelry, get the reduced cost of stamina abilities. This is going to help you with your sustain. You can put, I've got this on all three. You can put some weapon damage enchantments, but I really like having the sustain. I feel like I have enough damage without doing that. So I go all three stamina cost reduction. Feel free to put some increased weapon damage. On the weapons, on the one hand, I use the increased weapon damage for 200. That one's just fantastic. It's going to make you hit super hard. Highly recommend that on your weapon, your primary DPS bar, which is my one-handed shield. If your primary DPS bar is going to be your two-hand, put it on that weapon. I use the deals magic damage and restores stamina on my off bar. That's my two-hand. You don't want to stack these. You don't want to put these on both weapons because they will not stack on top of each other. They will refresh each other, but they won't stack on top of each other. And again, you want a prismatic enchantment here. Alright, so let's get into the abilities. So for our two-hand bar, this is going to be my secondary bar, not my primary bar. So this is going to be my off bar. I'm going to use Crit Rush for a gap closer, Rally for a heal over time, and also Major Brutality, Executioner to get my enemies down with some extra damage when they're low on health. If you want to use two-hand for your primary DPS bar, you pretty much have to use Wrecking Blow for burst. You're pretty much forced into doing that on the Stam DK. I'm not doing it. Not happening. So I'm also going to put a CC on this bar. I like having a CC on this bar. So I'm going to use Fossilize. Put that right there. And then I highly recommend this one right here. I made this change. It's not even leveled up yet. Run Shuffle. It's awesome. I really like Shuffle. So you get some dodge chance, and it'll also help you out with snares. And then for the ultimate, I made the change from Ferocious Leap to Take Flight, and I'm not going back. So the way I thought about it, I've thought about this one a bit. Usually whenever I use Leap, I'm on the offensive, and I'm getting my enemy down really low health, so he's going to have to stop attacking me, and he's going to have to heal. With Ferocious Leap, you get that damage shield right when you cast it, but if you're putting pressure on the enemy, and they're not even attacking you anymore, then your damage shield really isn't worth it. It's only worth it whenever you have a bunch of people on you. I'd rather have the Take Flight. I'd rather build for the 1v1 situation. With Take Flight, I get more damage, and I can do it from further away, and with less ultimate, so we can get our battle roars up more frequently. So I like Take Flight. I'm sticking with that one. For our one-handed shield bar, this is going to be our primary DPS bar. You got to use Ransack. You don't have to, but highly recommend Ransack. Highly recommend Ransack. This is when I'm going to be spamming in this build with the light attacks, the Ransacks, and the bashes. That's where the burst comes from. Let's see. We want vigor for our heal. Gotta have vigor. Too good. And then I also made this change. I used to flex Igneous Shield. Put it on my bar sometimes in certain situations, but now I'm primarily using Igneous Shield for that stamina sustain. I can trade my magicka for stamina, and then you gotta have Unstable Flames, just too good of a dot. So here's our flex spot. So remember how I said you can have mobility with this build? You get mobility by throwing rapids on this spot. Keep everything else, throw rapids there. You could also keep yourself more tanky. Throw volatile armor on there. I also throw volatile armor on here anytime I'm fighting a Nightblade, Magicka or Stamina, because this will take them out of stealth. And then if I'm fighting a Sorcerer or another Magicka build, maybe Templars, Magicka Templar, I throw Dragonfire Scale on here for the Reflect. And then, I'm not even going to say anything, I'm just going to put this on here. We're not even going to talk about it. You guys know. No, I'm just kidding. I love Werewolf. Werewolf works great on this build. You can proc more cooldown in Werewolf. I made this change to my Werewolf bar. I've got this buff because we're doing crazy damage already. I also went to Berserker. So for both reasons, we're doing crazy damage already in Werewolf. Might as well make it even crazier. So I made these two changes right here. Everything else is the same. Increased duration in Werewolf. Get the weapon damage from the fear. Increase the damage on the howl whenever they are feared. And then I've got Claws of Life now to keep myself alive. Alright, so let's finish off with the champion points. These haven't changed very much at all. I've got 15% in block cost reduction. I've got some spell resistance to make myself tanky against the magic builds. I have added some into resistant. I'm going to put more into this one in the future. This one goes in line with the thought of everyone's running crit builds. We need to reduce that damage so we can stay alive. So this works well with the impenetrable traits on the gear. And then I've also got Summon to Hardy, again, to keep myself alive against the magic builds. Elemental Defender right here. You don't really need this, but I kind of wanted a little bit right here to reduce the damage I take from shock and flame damage, primarily from your Sorks and from your DKs. And then I've got some quick recovery to increase my healing, and then to increase my heal from my potions. I need to put more into these, so I'll be moving into these, as well as the reduced crit damage more. Then I've got 8% on reduced stam cost of your abilities, and then I've got 11% on the bash cost reduction. I've been pumping this one lately. I'm going to start moving into reduce the magicka cost of spells because I actually use quite a few magicka abilities in this build. And then 11% stamina recovery, always good, and then tumbling for dodge and break free cost. Then I've got Summon to Blessed to give me increase my healing by 11%. And then I've got some on the light attack one right here. This one isn't as important anymore, again, because we don't block as often as we did, but I do use the animation canceling, so that's why I've invested into the light attack passive as well as the bash cost reduction passive. That's for my light attack, puncture, bash, animation canceling. Then we've got Mighty, increase our physical damage, and also we're going to increase our damage and healing by weapon crit. So that's going to make our rallies and our vigors heal even harder, and it's also going to make us hit harder against everyone else. So that does it for the Phantom Squire build, guys. Hopefully you enjoy it. I really like this one. Honestly, even though I've deviated from heavy armor, which was hard for me to do, I really like this build. This is actually my favorite build so far in ESO. I've got some crazy damage. I still feel just as tanky as I did in my Deadly Fortress build, so I really like this one, and I hope you guys like it too. So I'll catch you later.